everyone, and welcome to the Ascension Roundtable once again. Tonight I'm your host. My name is Nikki Foure, and we are going to be discussing the topic of attachment. But before we do that, we've got some introductions to do, and tonight we have the pleasure of welcoming a new panelist to the Ascension Roundtable. So let's just start with you, Summer. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, thank you to all of you out there. My name is Summer Wind. Essentially, I try to help people navigate their awakening. I was awakened back in 2006, and I identify myself as one of the new children who are on the planet to help people basically get in touch with higher levels of themselves. So this topic in particular has been both an intense struggle for me and an amazing discovery. So I'm looking forward to discussing this today. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you so much. Who's next?
I'll jump in. So again, my name is Isabelle Zimmerman. I am Attracting Wisdom. You can find anything around me on attractingwisdom.com. I am a full-time Ascension teacher, and I am here to spark or facilitate or whatever I can do to help you connect with your inner being. And that's me in a nutshell.
Thanks, Izzy.
Thanks, Nikki.
Roxanne?
Hi, I'm Roxanne Swainhart, and I'm a bad motherfucker.
Excellent. Kimberley?
Well, I guess I'll follow that, should I? Okay. Hello. Love you, Roxanne, by the way. Hello, everybody. My name is Kimberley, and I channel the beings of the light. So you can find more about me at beingsofthelight.com. So I am a channel, I am a counselor, I'm a light language alchemist and Reiki therapist and spiritual ascension teacher, so I'm a bit of everything. And so yeah, I channel the Ascension teachings. So the Ascension teachings through me, it really focuses a lot on law of attraction, law of oneness, a lot of metaphysical teachings to remember who you are, which is source. So the process is a remembering journey. So we're already enlightened beings. We're on a journey here to discover it, one layer at a time. Think of us as a giant onion, peeling back the layers, one layer at a time, letting go of our conditionings, our limiting beliefs, raising our perception of self. And then, yeah, we get to remember that we're God creators here on this journey of great expansion and having fun in our reality. So that's me. And pleasure to be here once again.
Thank you, Kimberley. Max?
Yes, right. Hello, everyone. So, Massimiliano. And so I'm working mainly with worth and discovering your worth, channeling about it, and bringing that to the light, to your light, your awareness, and let go of your lack, unworthiness, and finally discovering your abundance and get more of everything.
I love it. That's my favorite word, more. Okay, so before we launch our topic, we're going to start out with a beautiful light language meditation that Kimberley is going to channel for us. Do you want to say anything about the meditation for those that are out there and maybe it's their first time?
Yes, so I channel light language. They like to call it through me sound alchemy. So I channel healing and ascension source codes. It kind of sounds like me toning. At some points it might sound like I'm speaking another language. It's usually quite gentle. However, because it's channeled, what it is, it really helps to activate your dormant DNA, helps to raise your frequency, helps to release any dense, stagnant energy that needs to be released. So what can happen during the process is that if you're psychically sensitive, you may have a psychic experience. You might perceive certain energies. You might have visions. You might have things coming up to the surface. For some of you, it might be a relaxing experience. For some of you, it can be highly activated, and you could be wide awake or triggered. So yeah, it just depends on what you need to go through with this process. And I channel the Divine Elohim. So they're pure, like rays of creation, very close to pure source consciousness. And yeah, it's a deeply healing session as well. So I hope you enjoy the journey. Max is graciously offering to play his beautiful crystal bowls as well, which is a beautiful experience. And with that, because I imprint the energy, and we can all imprint energy. So when you do your intentions, when you do your meditations, we all have that power. So I do the same with this light language alchemy. So because the topic today is letting go of attachments, how about I imprint the energy today around to further assist us to let go of control and let go of attachments, to allow us to live more as free beings in our conscious awareness. Even though we're innately free, it just allows us to embrace life a little bit more, knowing that everything is for us. What about you guys here today in the panel? Any other intentions you want me to pop in there?
Kimberly,
Yes.
I think letting go of intentions, and how about embracing the flow?
Embracing
Right?
the flow. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, universal flow. Let's do that. And then I also like to sprinkle on top of that with my general intentions for everybody listening live or checking out the playback, that everybody receives any downloads or activations that will assist them in whatever's needed for their highest good in the now. I like to do that. And of course, energy works multidimensionally. So yeah, I can set that kind of general intention too, and you'll get what you need out of it that's supposed to. All right. Well, so I'll just get everybody to close their eyes firstly. So what I'll do, I'll go straight into the light language. And then the end might be slightly semi-guided as well. Okay, so everybody just take a deep breath. And Max is going to start his crystal bowls at some point, if he wishes, of course. And then I'm just going to set my intentions. Take a couple of moments to do that, and we'll see you soon. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, universal life force energy that flows through all that is, divine current that sustains life, that expands all that is. As you breathe in life force and allow it to expand through your entire being, as you exhale, any density, any programs that no longer serve you. As with each breath, you become lighter and lighter. And as you breathe, focus now on your heart center. Visualize a brilliant golden flame of light. This is your inner source self, the divine current within, the portal to your true self, the portal to your multidimensional self, your portal to your soul self, and all that is. As you breathe and visualize yourself within this brilliant golden light within your heart center, visualize now the bottom of your feet. Visualize roots going from the bottom of your feet as they grow deep beneath you into the heart of Mother Gaia, into the heart of Mother Earth. And you see this brilliant golden rose pink light. And you see this brilliant color radiate in love. And as your roots enter this brilliant rose pink golden light, you feel radiated love emitting back to you as you thank her for this interaction, and she thanks you and sends her her love. Sends you her love, grounding love, activations to assist you to ground into the heart of Gaia, grounding into physical reality, bridging the spirit and the physical world in one. And she sends you her love. And then you envision this brilliant rose pink golden light travel back up your roots as you see this color, this brilliant light of love move back up into your roots as it enters your feet. And you visualize this moving up your body. And as it enters now your heart space, as it creates an explosion of colors within your heart center, colors of the rainbow emanating now as it shines throughout your entire being. And as you breathe and exhale and breathe back into your heart space, as you center yourself, and remind yourself that you are source and that you're internally with the flow with all that is. As you surrender and let go and allow yourself to experience reality in all its glory, in all its expansion, as you become the God creator and experience your own creation, as you are one with all that is. And as you breathe in life force energy and exhale, remember this place. Remember your internal power in the present now, for it is here in the present now where your true power lies, where universal flow lies. where you are in communication with all that is. And as you breathe, bring your attention now to your surroundings. As you vibrate now in a higher dimensional you, higher dimensional reality, in the knowing that you are connected with all that is. It is with such love that we come through today to remind you of the love that you are and the oneness that you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So powerful.
Thank you.
Thank
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah. What a journey. So I just a couple of things to say. So our topic today is attachment. So less attachment, more freedom. So everyone is, I'm going to share my experience and with attachment and my perception of how it is today, my understanding, and then we're going to open it up to the panel, and everybody will be sort of bouncing off each other and inspiring each other, and each person is going to share their experience with attachment, and then we'll be opening up on our live chat so the public out there can ask questions. Did I forget anything, guys? Okay, great. Okay, so attachment. It's funny because when I made the decision to make this the topic for the Ascension Roundtable tonight, I've had like an entire week to dabble in my perceptions of attachment, my relationship with attachment, and it amazed me how each moment and minute and hour and day went by and something else was revealed to me about the layers of attachment I have. And I thought it would be interesting. I was curious to see what the laymen, the normal people out there, I mean, nobody's normal, but let's just, I wanted to know what Webster thought about attachment and what the definition of attachment was in the dictionary. So here, this is just a little bit of what I read. Attachment is a feeling that binds one to another. Okay, is that good or bad? I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. What I thought about when I thought of my own experience with attachment, I used to pride myself on my attachments to other people. Because, when you label something, you tend to have a little box with all kinds of rules in it because it all fits into the label. So, if I'm a good friend, then a good friend does A, B, and C, and a good friend doesn't do A, B, and C. And in regards to the relationships that I had, I thought attachment was a really good thing. And I'm not saying that attachment is a bad thing, but it seems to me attachment comes with emotion. It comes with, perhaps, I'm proposing, for me in any case, a bit of fear of losing that thing I'm attached to. It's so good, I want to keep it. So then I want to control. I want to go do my utmost to keep it. And that requires strategy and control, okay? So when I started delving into attachment, at first it was the outside. It was like attached to my surroundings, the country where I live, the family that I have, the place that I live, my location, the jobs that I have. And then it went into an inward journey of exploration. And I started looking at my attachment to my reality, what is, my attachment to my identities, who I am. And that's where I got into some hot water, because I'm always changing, right? My vibration is always changing. My beliefs are transmuting as I process my fears. as I move from fear into love, as I move from duality into oneness. So the attachment to these identities, so for example, I'm smart. Okay. So I'm really, really smart. Well, what happens when you put me in front of a computer? That's not such a good thing, okay? So what is smart anyway? Who are we when we take all these things out? And who I am when I take all this stuff out that I'm labeling and attaching rules to is my essence. And my essence is love. And that is a state. That is not an emotion. It is a state of being. So my experience with attachment. So, yeah, mostly I've spent a lot of my life clinging on to things, trying to keep them, right? And if I wasn't doing that, I was in fear I wasn't going to get the thing I wanted so that I could be attached to it. And that is an exhausting way to navigate our reality. And the universe has this amazing way of putting us in situations where we have to surrender to what is. And the things that I'm really attached to seem to be jerked out of my hands. Now, how'd that happen? And it's sort of like the universe does for me what I can't do for myself sometimes. And I am learning that I can trust that. Now, sometimes it's nice to have a little crutch, you know, like my relationship with my husband. He was the hero that cushioned for me from all the bad stuff in the world, and he made life easier, so I thought. But that was based in fear because I thought I needed a crutch. Okay, and it was also with the belief that the world was a dangerous place and that I needed protection, and that I wasn't sovereign and couldn't be in my own power and be completely in the unknown and be okay with it. And I was thinking that one of the things about attachment is it keeps us in the familiar. It keeps us in the old. It keeps us in the safe, right? And so a wise teacher once said to me, Nikki, practice rejection. Take risks, right? I don't want to take risks. I like it the way it is. You know, my fear level is manageable. It's there, but I can deal with it. And despite myself, I listened and I was teachable. And I am teachable and I'm still learning, and we all are, because we're learning who we are. This is an inward journey. And so baby steps at taking risks allowed me to see that, like, it makes me think of something my grandma used to say, because I remember I had to go get a shot from the doctor, and my grandma said, I was so scared about it. I was so scared about getting that shot. I didn't want to get the needle. And my grandma said, let the hurt and scare come all at once. It's like, you know, I get so wrapped up in the fear becomes my identity. And so we are master creators. We have the power to step out of that ego mind, to move more into love, to trust ourselves and believe in ourselves. And so it's funny because this year has been a year where a lot of people have left. And, you know, when I first thought about the idea of attachment, I thought I was going to title this topic, The Road Gets Narrower. And I'm sure some of you have heard that expression, you know, as we are on this spiritual path. The people perhaps that we spent time with, certainly our family members, when I started delving in esoteric knowledge and spirituality, whatever that may mean, journey of self-discovery, you know, people had no idea what I was talking about. And I also initially judged them as not having depth, etc. But what I've come to understand now is that everybody has something delicious and delightful that I can discover in them when I'm focusing on it. And so the road has gotten narrower. And then again, it hasn't, because my community with like-minded fellows as yourselves on the panel and our audience have shown me that I'm not so weird after all. And everyone is worthy, and everyone is has value. And that's what I'm understanding today. So when a person falls out of my life, vibrates out of my life, or a situation vibrates out of my life, I am confronted with the new. And the new has this incredible potential. And if I can release resistance and accept the new, the unknown, it's amazing what can happen. So that's pretty much what I want to say about attachment. I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say here on the panel. So who would like to step in now?
Well, since I'm new, maybe I'll just jump in. I'm very fond of saying, actually, if you don't get what you want, usually you will, not usually, but you will get something better. And I think that's the principal understanding that I have with my experience with detachment. A lot of who we identify ourselves as is largely made up. It's not really real. It's not really who we are. And when we can let go of that necessity to be who we demand we are, we start to discover what we actually are. And what we actually are is far more capable and far more brilliant than any of us would guess. I don't know if any of the audience has experience with channeling at all, but this is like one of the principles, I think, in actually connecting with those levels of yourself, is that when you can detach a little bit from who you demand that you are in a moment-to-moment basis, you start to discover more of the infinite nature of what you naturally are. And in your highest sense of self, you actually have like a multitude of different talents and abilities and knowledge that comes from a great variety of different sources all across your different incarnations, and in many senses from the entire universe. This is something that can be, I think, one of the most enjoyable experiences, enjoyable surprises too, when you actually let go into the unknown. But I'll tell you from my own personal experience, my awakening was very, very difficult because it had everything to do with who I define myself as and what my societal, family, scholastic expectations were. I think all of us can probably relate to that in some sense, that the expectations for who you're supposed to be determine a lot of what you behave as in your world. So that was like, that was probably the most challenging aspect to me. And it pushed me to a level of being so tight and so insistent that I had to be in something that I literally broke myself open into a state of detachment that in many senses never really ended. It started an unstoppable energy to come out of me and taught me a lot of the things just from the experience of my practical world from a more higher state of being. A lot of things unlocked very naturally, and I was able to perceive things I couldn't understand about myself and about the world the entire time I was living up to that point. And the truth is, a lot of it is very simple. If you really, really look at it, it's no more difficult than a child would be able to comprehend. It's not expensive knowledge. It's very, very simple. And when you can detach a little bit from yourself, you start to see the simplicity in all things. Life might be endlessly complex, but it is utterly simple. And when you can get into that state of being, I think it really opens you up to more of an expanded state of being, more to the point where it's up to you. You determine like what your capabilities are in terms of how you live your life and what you're able to have. Because on certain levels, if you look at it really, you already have everything. You own the world. And it's just about how you work with those things, or how you play with those things, or how you experience them, because there's nothing stopping you from having any of the amazingly adventurous experiences that you desire to have. In fact, when you start to recognize that, which is usually, I find, the backwards way for most people, that they will go extravagant before they find the odyssey in each and every single moment that we live in. Because it truly is that. Because really, everything that you experience is just another experience of yourself. The context, in many senses, is irrelevant. And so you can find the magic, the mystery, the wonder in the moment that you're in right now. And when you do, you really ground into the kind of joy that I think everyone is actually working really hard to achieve, when it's actually not something you can earn. You just sort of accept it. You fall into it. Yeah, I think that's been my experience with detachment, definitely. So I'll leave it to whoever else wants to jump on that.
I think you need to, Nikki, you need to direct it.
Okay, fine. Okay, you want to direct? I'll direct. Roxanne.
Oh, look at that. So attachment, I think for me, is interchangeable with identity. I always found myself through a lifetime of emptiness. And when I had something to attach to or identify with, it was a momentary lapse of reason. I didn't have to have a reason for living because I was identified. And then as soon as my identity would diminish with time, as it always does, I become the constant pursuit of identity, approval. And then I start noticing that in a lifetime of lying to myself. But it wasn't lying in the perspective of false. Non-existence is false and existence is true. It's how you relate to that as a reality, is the truth of your experience, not a truth defined by polarity. That's the experience itself. But I realized these were not the truths of me. And as you journey into those identities and have the humility or the meekness and ability to surrender to that, to realize that is simply a way to experience reality, and it is not you in permanency, because we are the constant of change. That persona that you are by nature is just experiencing just this element of human that is separated, but it doesn't define you as what the memory defines you as. So I started seeing the identity. I'm supposed to be this and supposed to be that, and tried to do that. I tried to do that for everyone externally, because my belief systems, my ideas in my life were I'm less than. I'm a human. I was born of original sin. So my identity is I'm a bad person because some fuckwad ate a goddamn apple. And now I gotta fucking look for some external God that's gonna take me to paradise. I don't want to rest in peace. I want to fucking live forever. And I started seeing that that was my identity. And that was very struggling for me. That was very struggling because it was reinforced on a daily basis as an identity. And if I didn't have anything to live for, if I couldn't get attention, you would act out in whatever way you could. And then sometimes when those acting out and ideologies, mainly trying to make other people happy over yourself, started to fail, and then you resort to a defensive mode, and I became angry and yelling and screaming and throwing shit all over the house because I was a failure now. But it was a wonderful feeling because I was alive in my failure, realizing that in self is an identity. Misery loves company. Good Samaritans love good Samaritans. And we're just trying to group ourselves in this ideology of identity, belonging to creation, somewhere polarized as a vibrational worth. And then realizing, damn, my existence supersedes purpose, meaning, desire. hope. I am. There's nothing I can do to make it any better, any worse, because it's not that. It's what it is because I am. And how I perceive it is the journey. So all of us decided to come, hey, let's go down to a place till we don't know we're gods and see what that's like. And here we are. And through that, we are offering everybody an infinite amount of information that's taken so many billions of years of timelines in all these incarnations merging together in this absolute fucking quantified field that's immeasurable to really realize what we think we are is an experience of what we are by nature, creators, and how we use the terms and the ideology. So then I started taking a standpoint of I'm enough was my motto for a while. I'm enough. I don't need to barge in on a conversation and prove myself. I sure as fuck don't need a resume. If I need a resume, doesn't mean I can't have one. But if I relate to it as an identity and people got to know me that I'm A, B, or C, well, then I'm trying to get their approval of my own existence when it's already been chosen. I am self-evident. Then I was like, yeah. So that emptiness, constantly trying to be fulfilled through purpose and meaning, getting the acceptance of exterior, moms, dads, religions, peoples, employers, attaboys, attagirls, things like that that we covet as an existence of worth. Doesn't need to be that anymore because it already is. I don't have to do anything. My world shows up. Nothing. I don't have to do anything. Law of attraction takes care of that. What do I need to do? Why do I have to know something that's not there when it's already here? I don't know this. If I know it, it's not here. I'm knowing it. I'm exploring the now. So then I started to unidentify with myself and see from a point of view of absolute neutrality, and then move myself out of the predicaments of polarity to identify not as identified, using the observer as an identity to realize isness. And I'm not done yet, of course not. I got some work to do. But I can tell you something. Beyond the idea of attachments, if you don't have them, like all of us somewhere have perceived loss that exquisitely tore us down, crying and screaming, whether it was getting a Christmas gift or losing a boyfriend or getting fired from a job, that was so identifiable and all we saw is loss. And damn, we're still here. We're still here. Why? Because we're forever. So working through that takes courage. Because you don't count as the habit that we were all reinforced on a daily basis from my teachers. You don't read good. You belong over there. You're not this. You belong over there. Oh, we like you because your skin color is this. Come over here. And we started to identify these things and we started to act these ideas. Like Summer said, you take an approach to an identity and within that frequency, then you only create that vibration, so therefore it's limited to that. But then when you realize you're enough without those things, then creation shows up. The unconditional says hi, and it's always been there. We just been looking through different filters. So I think the recognition of the identity and the courage to allow it to be identified, and then of course taking a chance not to choose it one day to see that you're still okay, you're still enough, and those people that you depend on and disapprove of your actions, like, well, hell, like Nikki going, hi, I'm not gonna belong here anymore. I'm gonna change myself, and I don't think I need you anymore. And then all of a sudden you realize you're enough without those identities. And then the persona starts to become self-evident. I don't know what the hell I am. I know I like to yell. I like to cuss. I'm like bold. I'm a Sagittarian. That's a personal aspect, maybe, right? But I don't even know if those are the permanencies. Maybe that's just the way I create human. That's my human experience. But maybe in the next adventure, I become an angelic or maybe an Arcturian. I have no idea. But if I'm connected and I'm expressing through the isness of me, then I'll already be that. This one, we think we have to create that. If we let go, as Summer said, the more you let go, the more you realize you're already there. So that identity, attachments to the external validating the internal, is the gift we've given ourselves to know ourselves as not God, to realize it's just a created point of view for an experience of a master. I think that's good. Yeah.
Thank you. Isabelle.
Okay, so why do we care if we're attached? Why do we want to perceive losing attachment, right? So when I heard this concept of let go of the outcome, do not be attached, I was like really? Like, what's up with that? And Spirit really worked with me on this to let go of the attachment. And to let go of the attachment is to be in the flow. And I went, oh, so if I'm not attached, I'm in the flow, I'm in present, and I am experiencing and being. And that's the state you want me in? Well, why? Why do you want me in that state? And that they said that is the greatest potentiality for magic. And then I said, okay, well, now you've got me curious. So attachment, one of the things, how I think of it is attachment is we are focused of the outcome of energy. So we are focused of our creation and our experience of the outcome of that energy. So let's say you're going to write a book. Sometimes you focus on the end result of the book and you go into the future of what that book is going to bring you: success, money, achievement, feelings of that outcome of that book. So Spirit said, Isabelle, sorry, my dog is barking. So Spirit said, when you eat a meal, Isabelle, are you focusing on the next day your poop? Do you think like, oh, I'm going to have beets and I'm going to have lettuce and my poop is going to be a beautiful color brown? Or are you eating that meal, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, humans are focused on the shit. Holy shit. That is what we're doing. We are focusing on the end result of our experience instead of being in the experience because we're attached to the end results of our shit. So hopefully that helps you, Scooby-Doo detectives, that when you're attached to something, you're attached to the outcome of your energy being expressed in any form. And if you can back up and enjoy your meal and your food and that experience in that moment, you're in the flow and you get to experience more magic. That is why lessening the attachment of your outcome of energy is why they help us, because then you're in the present moment. So that's my take on attachments. Back to you, Nikki.
Thanks, honey. Max, enlighten us. No pressure.
Let's go a little bit into more freedom. Because, right, the more freedom, what is more freedom? I don't know. Who knows? The thing is that, right, when you are taking a making or changing yourself, going into doing so much work inside of you and discovering yourself and doing all of this, and then you are so taken into that, and you are tearing yourself apart and being so harsh and hard on yourself because you didn't see that, because you said that, but you should have understood that. Why didn't I feel that? And why this and why that? Yeah. Right. And then you just stop, take a step back, relax, let go of all of that, and just you realize that you are just being an idiot. And sometimes you realize that the freedom of doing a work on yourself is that there are no rules, no attachments, no outcome, no expectations. You're just doing it. So you remind yourself that there is nothing else than freedom. Anything else than freedom is what? Is you accepting any belief system, any attachment, anything that is anchoring you to something. But the finite of this is that there is in reality nothing that should take away your freedom in any way. Your freedom is total. It's the totality of it. Then as a human being, right, when you look at I am a human being, you realize that yes, but still I have to wake up at 6 in the morning and I have to go and bring the children to school, and I have to go to work, and I have to do this and I have to do that, because there are still things that are in this reality that I have to do. No, you don't. You choose to do them, but you do not have to. There is no must. It's a choice. Your choice to do those things, right? So freedom is total. Then you make the choice of putting on your path things that you have to do, or that you choose to do, or that you will still be doing. But it comes always back to you and what you are going to choose for yourself. And if there is anything that suddenly you realize, oh, I'm doing this, but why am I doing this? Oh, because I have the obligation. No, you don't. And if that is a weight on your shoulders, well, let go of it. You have the freedom to do it. So to let go of the attachment. It's a choice that you can make in every moment for yourself. It's as simple as that. And then you'll say, no, it isn't. Of course it is. The it isn't, it's simply you going into your ego and refusing your power over your reality, because it's yours and it's you making choices for yourself. No one else is doing that for you. So your freedom is still there. Use it.
Thank you, Max. Kimberly, would you like to jump in?
Sure. Well, attachment. Well, there's so many context you can use attachment. So firstly, I would say that attachment is something that we tend to use a lot, even in the world of law of attraction. We want to control what we manifest. So we attach to the outcome. We do our visualizations. This has to be in the outcome. And if it doesn't come the outcome that we want, then we must have used law of attraction in not the right way. And then we think we're a failure. And then we perceive maybe law of attraction doesn't work. And then blah, 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 blah. So attachment. When it comes to creating our reality, we as human beings, we're much more than human beings, but we really like to create goals, right? We always like to set bars for ourselves. We've been conditioned that way, whether it is I want this for my job, this for my life, this for my career, whatever it is. But you see, when we set bars or we want to have certain outcomes, that is always related to our perception of self-worth, what we think we are capable of. So if you are in a vibration where you do not see yourself as fully capable, if you feel like your self-worth is at a low state, if you do not feel like you are powerful, guess what you're going to do? You're going to set the bar to here. You're going to think, oh, I'm only capable of this, so I'm only going to make a goal to here, or plan an outcome to here, or only control a manifestation process for me to attain X, Y, or Z. But you see, we're much more than that bar. And that bar is an illusion. And if we go, okay, this is what I want, what you're doing, you're pinching yourself off from the flow of the universe, because you're basically declaring to the universe, I'm only worthy of this. I only want this because that's how I identify with it. If I can get this, it'll make me feel good about myself, it'll make me feel successful. But you are much more than what you have, measured yourself to be. So look, if you want to go with the full flow of the universe and allow the universe, the higher you, to show you who you really are, your true potential, well, guess what? You're gonna have to let go of that bar. Let it go, which means, and it's sometimes hard because we've been so conditioned to make goals, right? Oh, you have to set a goal, but where's your goal coming from, right? Let go of that goal, because, like I said, it's always going to be related to how you perceive yourself, right? If you just want the universe to be surprised by the universe, show you why you are truly here, then you just let go and just be in the present moment and act on the guidance steps. If you really want to have some kind of direction, you just set your intentions. So, when you set goals is very much around control. If you can set intentions on a feeling there and let go of the attachments to how those feelings should manifest, then you allow the universe to bring you what you truly desire, far beyond whatever you can, think you're worthy of. So it's sometimes difficult because we're creatures of wanting to, control our reality, right? So it's really about, okay, what do I want? I want to feel fulfilled. I want love to be reflected back to me. But if you want reality to reflect the love that you are, then you need to raise your perception of self. You're tasked to do that because, right, law of attraction, if you perceive yourself to be this small, guess what? The universe will respond to that, right? And you can try and manifest all you want to control your conditions. But again, the universe will only bring you what mirror your vibration. And perhaps what you really want is maybe something not what you truly want. So it's really about letting go. But, attachments can also be good because it depends how you perceive attachments. When it comes to things and outcomes, yes, it's about letting go of the bar that we set for ourselves, setting intentions. But when it comes to relationships, well, that's another story, right? So as beings coming from non-physical to physical reality, we chose to forget who we are, right? So spiritual amnesia, as I like to call it. And we choose our parents to be born through. And then we know that these parents is going to allow us to be on a certain trajectory. and we're going to go through certain attachment styles in our upbringing, right, with our parents, and that's going to set the scene, so to speak, for the rest of our lives. It's going to help develop our personality. So basically from the ages of 0 to 7 years old, this is in the world of psychology, it's a pivotal point because that's where we form our attachments to ourselves and the world, our reality, our parents. Do we have a secure, attachment? Like, do we feel loved? Do we feel secured or abandoned? So, there's different types of security styles. And what happens in the first 7 years of life, that kind of sets us up for the rest of life. However, that just sets up our conditioned beliefs, the very rigid beliefs. And in saying that, no matter what your upbringing was, no matter what you're conditioned with, we can always change those belief systems, but we choose to experience those. So if you come from a background, maybe a difficult upbringing, and you've adopted certain beliefs within you and that's shaped your reality, well, you wanted that because you chose your parents. First thing, I know, even though it might be very difficult, it might be hard for you to perceive that. You wanted to explore life in a certain way, certain challenges, right? To trigger you, to catalyze remembering who you are. So you can use attachments here as a tool, right? So when it comes to relationships and, soul families, there's people in your life that, yes, you have a very secure attachment to. It could be your partner, your family, other people in your life. There's a reason for that, right? Because they're our most finely tuned mirrors. We want that. We want people to trigger our blind spots because, yes, it might be some colleagues, some friends that you're not too attached to, and if they trigger you, it's no big deal, right? But what if your partner triggers you? Then it's a big deal, right? And sometimes, no matter how much information you know about higher perspectives, when someone close to you that triggers you, it is a gift because only those that you have that close attachment to can trigger you so. And there's a gift with that because they become your mirror to a belief that you have about yourself and the world that is not aligned to source and oneness' perspective, right? That you're seeing things from a point of duality, of judgment, of polarity. And that's okay if you're doing that because we're having the human experience. So understand that no experience is wrong, no emotion is wrong. It's part of the experience, it's how we expand. But you can use attachment styles, right? And the people you're attached to emotionally, so there's a different thing between attachments to things and outcomes, attachments to people, right? So your attachment style can benefit you if you know your attachment style, if you know your triggers when it comes to others, and you use that as a tool for expansion. This is when you become, in your conscious awareness, right? God creator, and you get to create in your experience. So if you're triggered by others, great, fantastic, because what they're doing is highlighting a belief within you, a dimension of you, an aspect of you that you have not loved, right? That you've pushed down within you. And they're giving you that opportunity. It's like their higher self and your higher self is playing a role here to bring a part of you up to the surface to shine light on so you can love it and accept it. So those of you that trigger you, and yes, for a lot of you, it is your families, could be your partners, because they're the ones we kind of let go of our resistance to, right? We open our hearts to them. We do feel that attachment. But this is how we expand the most. It is through the attachments because they trigger us so much. So embrace it. I think, when people ask me, because I'm also obviously a relationship therapist as well, and also in the world of psychology, they go, so what is a good relationship? And some people come to me about relationships and some issues, and they might have, worries about the relationship, and they talk about maybe getting triggered. And I'm like, that is great. In my perspective, I don't think you want a relationship that it's so easygoing when it's like fluffy, 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 right? You want someone that triggers you because they become your finely tuned mirror. And yes, they reflect also the love. So if you raise your perception of self, raise your perception of love, because you are love, they'll become your mirrors, yes, to the fear and to the love. So you can use that as a very powerful ascension tool. So embrace it, embrace the triggers. So use the attachments to your benefit. Use it as a tool, as a God creator that you are. Let go of your outer reality, your outcomes. Set your intentions for your reality. Just make your intention. Do your meditation. When I did the sound alchemy just before, I set the intentions. I imprinted the energy. You can do it too, right? So you can do that in your meditations. Set the imprint. I intend maybe to integrate more of my higher self aspects. I intend to be more connected to my soul self in my conscious awareness. Whatever you like to do, you are God creator. So go play and have fun. Understand that everything in your reality is for you. Practice non-attachment, but understand if you're attached and you'll get triggered, that's also a good thing. So it's not about also, yes, letting go of attachment, but seeing the benefits in that and knowing that when your emotional reactions in relations to attachment, there's a benefit for you. It is a gift for you. So you're human, you're much more than human. And we're here to have a human experience in all these paradigms of attachment, of polarity. So yeah, embrace it all, because that's why we're here. We're here to expand, right? So yeah, have fun and play. And yeah, the more you can be in the present, I just want to say, when you're in the present moment as well, that's when you can really tap into the flow of the universe and you're able to let go more of attachment and see the higher message there. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Kimberly. That was amazing. I love that. Yeah, I have a book on attachment theory somewhere in my zillions of wellness books. And it is an interesting experience to understand when, like, I remember having a relationship with someone where they had the attachment, their attachment was distance is better. And I'm like, no, touching together, you know, and it was just, we had our own filters, we had our systems in place, and we really didn't understand each other. And I always think it's interesting, but I mean, okay, like you said, the interrelating with people, and I love what you said about triggers as a gift. Who else would like to talk about triggers as a gift? I'd love to hear more.
All right, I'll go because just so you know, guys, Nikki and I co-created a course together, and while we were creating, I triggered Nikki and Nikki triggered me. So, and even today I said, thank you for triggering me to her. And I meant it, because she plucked a chord within my vibration of a belief that was with me not only in this life, but in other lives. So it was in my field. And when I really went deep in, it inspired me, because Max and I and Roxanne and Nikki, we're creating another thing in Italy in September of 2022 around empowerment. And so Nikki plucked a chord within me. She triggered me. And it was about empowerment. I didn't feel powerful. I didn't feel safe. And I would have never gone so deep and examine it. And I got a greater understanding. And then I took that understanding and I took a note on it, because that's what I want to talk about in Italy, about empowerment, feeling powerful. And so when we're triggered, I will give you the basic answer, but it won't do you any good until you change your energetic pattern. But your fear is really an exploration of the loss of love. And it's blame, shame, guilt, justice, and lack of power, lack of worth. It's expressed in so many ways. But when you are triggered, if you can practice, why am I triggered? How is this for me? And just be curious, my Scooby-Doo detectives out there. If you can just be a little curious, notice that you're being triggered, and then ask why. Just start there and see what happens. So yes, does it feel great when you're triggered? No, it sucks. It does. Sometimes I want to run away and cry and slam the door and stomp my feet and say, fuck you. Yes, it does. It hurts. I get it. but it's for me. And how lucky am I that Nikki triggered me, because I created from it. I love her more. We feel safer because I can tell her she triggered me, and I still love her and she still loves me. And I get to practice being vulnerable. And how powerful is that? Right? Because, you know, it's really, really, really good to be triggered. I know it's so counterintuitive, but it really is. It does suck the emotional pain, but if you can get past that emotional pain and just be a little curious, you know, anyways, whatever your feedback is in the audience, just let me know what you think about being triggered. Thanks, Nikki.
Thanks, honey. I just want to jump in because you said, I think you said nobody likes the emotional pain. And I just want to say something about it. And it makes me think about what Roxanne always says, but we survive it. And, you know, wouldn't it be cool if we stopped rating certain emotions as bad and we moved into acceptance? That's one of the big things on my ascension journey is about, and this neutrality thing helps, but I really do need to accept exactly where I am and what I'm feeling. And it makes me think about two things: inspiration versus urges. So, you know, when we are triggered, when I am triggered, it's good to breathe. And yeah, all of that stuff, but I need to like have it in my body and feel it. And then like not act on the urge to change my external conditions so that I feel better, right? It's actually just to sit with whatever is. And it's so amazing how when I do that, when I surrender to what is and I accept it, it actually changes pretty quickly, you know, but it's while it's there, it's not wrong. It's there. It is there. And it's so, if you didn't get triggered, you probably wouldn't expand. I mean, I don't know. That's, you know, being triggered, having contrast is the expansion journey. Anybody else like to talk about triggers?
Yes, let me jump in because I have an example. So I have something just recent, and it's about the trigger that is me with my father and stepmother. And for very long, I've been trying to gain their approval, their support, their love, and failed completely. So I distanced myself from them for now it's quite 4 years nearly, and with some little visiting here and there, but the last year and so it was quite right at the dead as a relationship, especially with my stepmother. She's the one that triggers me completely, and I cannot handle her. It's just someone, and she's the one that is part of my soul family. So she's the one that has really that relationship with me. Until I think in the last week, I had that thing in me where I realized that finally in the relationship with them, I was entering in my power. I was recognizing my power, and that I am now able, if any contact in due course, I mean, in natural timing will ever happen, probably it will happen, I will able to be handling the situation. And last night, generally I had dreams about that, and were always dreams where I was not sure of anything and where I could see that she was still angry at me or something like that. Last night I had a dream where we met, and the first interaction, she attacked me, and I was there, oh fuck, what am I going to do? Completely lost. But the next second, I just stand up went to her and said to her, now you stop talking to me like this. This is over. You will do the things correctly or it's never see you again. And I felt, right, with that, I felt that the dream was confirming what I had already conquest or understood. So, right, triggers can be there to, right, push you to do something, and then suddenly you realize, okay, it's done. That's it.
Thanks, Max. Okay, so this is our time for, unless somebody else wants to jump in, I think we could go to questions from our audience, if there are any.
Yes, actually, I wanted to jump in. I'm getting triggered a little.
Oh, good.
Something I notice about my journey is it's like once you discover the most amazing thing about yourself, you usually get a challenge to that very thing. Something will come up, and I couldn't relate a little bit until Max started talking about his journey, but then when he did, I was like, yes, but this is what I see as like almost like going back to the last talk you guys were having, this idea of villains. It's like villains are like the master teacher in your story. You need them in many senses because you would never get this kind of information in this kind of way to accelerate your growth without having some nasty, horrible person just, kind of get into you almost like a rusty blade to try to just make you bring up all the worst elements of you, to make you scream, to make you yell, to make you tear down, everything about the world, to put you in touch with like the deepest, darkest parts of yourself so that you can bring it up to the surface and say, oh no, I didn't even know this stuff was down there, right? But I find that a lot lately. I know in my dreams, my guide will literally create the entire experience that I'm wrong. Actually, she does this in my life as well, using all kinds of just out of this world magic stuff that I don't even want to get into right now, to just prove that my whole awakening is wrong. She uses magic to prove that magic doesn't exist. It's like things on levels that most people have in their lives, but I don't think until you really start to become conscious of it that you realize what's going on. But a lot of the times when you start growing into yourself, it's like you start triggering other people to start triggering you, so that you can go back down, you can crumble back down into yourself. You can go through this whole journey of like, oh no, I'm not worthy. I'm not here for the right reasons. Like, this is not my path. I don't deserve this stuff. You go through all of that shit. And then by the end of it, it's not true. And you grow even stronger. You grow even more powerful. And then you get past, you grow, you literally expand in your own relief past those triggers. And then you encounter even darker triggers or even more challenging things that you don't know how to deal with. You feel sort of like I did before I first woke up. You feel like you're in an impossibility, that there's no way out of this, that there's nothing you can possibly do to keep going or to become more of yourself. Like it's over. It's just the end. You're just dead. That's it. You have to turn around. You have to go home, But it's like those kinds of things that really bring up things inside of you that are absolutely brilliant. Like I was saying, you don't really know who you are because most of what you've been taught about who you are is like what most of the world thinks they are. And it's a very limited perspective on what you're actually capable of. The magician truly lies within. And those struggles are necessary because you are worthy, because you are good enough to bring those parts out of yourself and really discover, magic within you, to discover that you're more than you actually think you are and worth like far more than you would ever give yourself. And I think that's the process of really starting to learn and to discover who you are and to grow into, your value, your kingdom of you, specifically in the ways that you deserve to have it, the way you deserve to like fall in love with yourself, and to truly know that is for that to come out into the world just by you experiencing it yourself. Your own gifts that to other people so they can really find that within themselves, honestly and truly. And then it just ignites everyone. It's just like, it's almost like a heart virus or something like that. It just starts infecting everybody and everyone starts unlocking. And it's inevitable in the end. I think that because the universe is more positively oriented than negative, inevitably the negativity will just be eaten away by the positivity, as if it was this idea of the apocalypse. But the apocalypse is really the apocalypse of the apocalypse. It just ends up being completely infinite. And that's what we are. That's just the nature of how we are. So I just wanted to say that.
I'm so glad you did. Bravo. That was great. Amazing. Okay. Do we have any questions, Max? I don't think we do.
No.
So we could stop. Yeah. Is everybody in agreement with that? Yeah. Okay. So great. Well, listen, this was my first experience hosting, and thank you all for guiding me and helping me. In particular, I'd like to thank Roxanne, who gave me a tutorial on how to go live through Zoom, and that was facing my fears. And what a great experience, taking a risk, being able to do it, and then I survived. And thank you, all of you, for your interesting and unique perspective on attachment and navigating this reality, this ascension journey through discovery of the self and falling in love with ourselves and accepting ourselves, who we are right now. There's no future version of us that is better than the one we are in right now. So without further ado, I thank you all, and thank you for all of you who listened to us, and maybe next time you'll have some questions. I do believe Isabelle is our next host. No? Who's the next one? You're muted, Kimberly.
I don't know, maybe.
I think it's Roxanne or Summer, maybe.
Roxanne. Okay, so Roxanne is our host for next week, in 2 weeks' time, which is, what's the date?
Oh, which? The 28th.
So Sunday the 28th. No, it's Sunday the 27th.
No, 27th. Yeah, we are already on Monday. No, sorry.
Yeah. Sunday the 27th with Roxanne Swainhart as our host with another interesting topic. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, here we go.